Hey everybody, and home for Spirit of Metal, and today we're here with a very special guest, Leah Scott Price. She is the writer and creator of a very cool comic book, Vampire Garden Angels. Hi Leah, how are you today?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So, I don't know if you guys don't know Leah or don't know her work yet. She is a very awesome writer. She creates this awesome, very obscure and bloody comic book called Vampire Garden Angels. It's awesome comic book. So, Leah, I wanted to ask first if you can tell us a little bit about you. Like, did you grow up here in California? What's your background?
Grew up in Alameda, California, and that's the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay.
And then moved here to LA, and from there on, moved to Torrance.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Awesome place.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, when did you start having this interest in comic books?
That was actually 3 years ago. I was first doing films and novels.
Oh, nice.
And I was also trying to find different ways to bring my characters to life. So, you know, I was thinking, okay, I've done films, I've done novels, I've done, you know, whatever else I could think of. Oh, comic books! Because the characters themselves would be really awesome. You know, vampires and comic books kind of go together. So I decided, why not? You know, and from there we ended up with these lovely little comic books. So
yeah, awesome. But like, did you always like comic books when you were younger? Like, did you read any other heroes comic books or something that you started more recently?
Other than the Marvel, you know, the Superman, the Batman, all those other comic book stuff, I really wasn't into it at first. But then I started seeing the Frank Miller type, the Sin City type with the black and white imagery, and I said, that is awesome, that's beautiful. And I started seeing like the Spawn comic books, the Priest comic books, and I thought, well, you know, this is kind of like a really cool idea, so why not? You know, it's just getting into it. And honestly, I'm still trying to get into, you know, the whole comic book thing. This is my third year at some comic book conventions like Comikaze.
Oh yeah, you told me.
So I started trying to get in there, trying to just basically see what it's all about. So my first year there, I was meeting a lot of other artists, a lot of other independent comic books and creators and writers and artists. And I said, this is really cool. This is kind of like my thing. So I'm still learning, still, you know, getting into the scene, still going along, still learning what my fans like, what people like, you know, in the horror world, in the vampire world. So it's kind of like, it's a whole creative process. It's kind of creating itself. So
okay, and then so you go to these conventions, and this is a way of you know, putting your work out there. Is there any other way you're trying to, you know, make people know about your comics?
Basically, just going on social media, you know, posting samples, where to find the comic books, just promoting. You know, it's kind of like as an indie author and writer, you kind of have to promote yourself and kind of, you know, putting the word out there, trying to get people to learn about the characters, you know more about it, and kind of those things.
Okay, talk about the characters. It's very interesting because this is you were used to vampires and all that, but this is basically angels that have been transformed to vampires. It's a very original and different idea, and you are in the comic book. Right. So can you tell us a little bit about the characters, the main characters, and you know, what this main story is all about?
Right. So the comic book actually started out as a novel. And it was a vampire trilogy novel, and I started out with the angel Gabriel and turned him into an evil serial killer to begin with. So basically, when you pray to a guardian angel, you don't know who it is. You've never seen one, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you've got a vision of what it looks like, but it's an entity. It could be good, it could be evil.
Yeah.
So this entity basically hates humanity now, so he comes in and kills you if you pray to him. Kind of like shutting you up. It's like, stop whining to me. I'm not your therapist. That's enough. And from then on, in the story, later on in the story, they become vampires.
Oh, nice.
So your guardian angel is now a vampire. Remember that.
Be careful. So, and how did you always like vampires? Is it something you always got attracted to? This type of yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, in the 80s, you had the Lost Boys, you had Fright Night, you had all those scary vampires, not the sparkly ones, but so that was always intriguing to me. As a fan of horror and a fan of these creatures of the night that just scare the crap out of you. So, and the Hammer films. I don't know if you've, the Christopher Lee show, the films with 7 Golden Vampires, all that kind of stuff. The classic B-movie, scary, gory, rip your throat out vampire.
Okay.
And that's when I started actually writing about them in novels. So with my trilogy book, and then turn them into the comic books. But yeah, vampires have always scared the crap out of me.
And do you have a favorite author who writes? I know it's very tacky, but Anne Rice and all these things. Do you have any favorite writers that write about vampires?
Actually, my favorite writer is Stephen King.
Oh, okay.
Stephen King. Okay. And so before vampires, I was reading a lot of Stephen King novels, and oh my God! I mean, I would have just nightmares.
Oh, really?
And I majored in creative writing, and the first thing I wanted to do was write horror. So that was basically my inspiration. Was just
that's
scary
awesome.
Stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, but talk about the comics. So I know you write the stories, right? But you have partners that do the drawing.
Yes.
Right. So they're not in California, right?
They are in Missouri. And they graduated from Missouri State University. They are 2 artists. Andrew Setter is my main illustrator. He does all the fantastic black and white artwork.
Oh, awesome.
Like you can see. So, like I said, his favorite artist is actually Frank Miller. So he's very, very, very influenced by that. So it's a black and white, like a film noir kind of thing. And Mark Silvestri is also his favorite. So he's very influenced by that. And the colorist and the person who does the lettering is Chad Hammondtree. And he's also my graphic designer and my art director.
Okay.
So they are 2 extremely talented artists.
They are. Yeah, it's amazing art.
Yeah.
And how did you meet them? Is that something you knew them before? And how do you work? Because you write here. You probably have your story you send to them, and do you give them any guidelines, or just like free, whatever you think it will fit with the story?
It's really interesting. I lucked out with the artists because I actually met them online.
Oh, okay.
I was looking for comic book artists. It took me a year to find the right one through a site called freelance.com. And I met Andrew first.
Okay.
And I said, well, this is the storyline. This is what I want to do. Can you do it? And he sent me some samples. And he also said, he was actually the very first person who responded. And he said, I know your vision. Trust me on this.
Oh.
I can do it. I'm like, okay, it's yours. And he said, I have a partner. I'll bring him in. As he's the colorist. He'll take care of the coloring and everything. And I just sent them the script. What I do is I send them the script, and honestly, I hardly see anything until maybe 6 months later. It usually takes a year to do it because we all work full time.
Yeah. Okay.
And everything's hand drawn, very intricate, very detailed, and he shades everything by hand.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So he sends me screenshots, like little teasers, like here's one. I go, I want to see the recipe. He goes, no. Yeah. But the strange thing is, he reads my mind exactly. I send him the script. He knows what to do with it, and when it comes back, it's perfect.
You can't believe it. Yeah.
It is absolutely perfect. There are no rewrites, no redraws, nothing. Okay. It's amazing. They're the most amazing artists. It's almost like we mind meld, so we just connect.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's so hard to find that.
For long distance, collaboration, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So,
and you just mentioned that it's a 1 edition per year. Is it any plans or maybe possibilities to increase that, or for now we'll keep that way?
It depends on time. When we started with our first issue, they were still in college.
Yeah.
So actually, these 2 issues right here. Let me grab these. Sorry.
Oh no.
These 2 were done within the year. So we had 2 issues that came out within 1 year. When they graduated, started working full time, unfortunately, you know, it would be 1 issue per year.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe someday, or if I started trying to draw myself, which is really hard. I mean, I've tried, and I can't do what they do, and it's amazing what they do. So, yeah.
But look at this. So really, awesome cover art. Yeah. Okay, so maybe people are asking, why are you talking? I'm talking to you besides of the more obscure art and all that. Is because Leah is also very, very involved with our metal scene here, the more underground metal scene in LA, and she's always at the concerts and giving support to the bands, and she has included them inside the comic books. So if you know some of the LA bands, underground bands, they will be included in the stories. So what was the idea behind, and if you can mention some of the bands that have already appeared in the comic books?
Okay, well, let's basically start at the beginning, how I got into metal. My husband was a guitarist for a band in Sprawler, which is a local band, in which they're on hiatus now. Awesome band, death metal. So I've never, ever heard death metal before, or any metal music. So, and when they started performing, I was their merch girl, and I said, oh my God, this is awesome. This is incredible. I've been hiding under a rock. So that's the first band right there in Sprawler. And one scene basically needed some vampires. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to throw the guys in just for fun, for promotional purposes. And also to promote them. It's just purely for fun. And so we did. We got them in. And so they first appeared, they appeared here in the second one. And I just kind of turned them into vampires.
Oh, awesome.
So we drew the guys in right here. And then we started putting the logos on the t-shirts for the characters. And so by the third book, I usually go to the script, like, where can I put some of my friends? Whether their bands are performing or not doesn't matter. So it's just, it's just a great thing. And this is Death Embraced, and this is Eric. He's my #1 fan. He always comes to Kamikaze and supports me in there, helps me with the booth. So we threw them in too. And then Miss Merrick is the other band.
Oh, okay.
So there was one scene where we needed a band and a stage.
Awesome. Awesome.
So we threw them in too. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
It was great, and they did such a great job. I mean, the artist did fantastic work. So then the next issue, Comic Book 5, we're going to have Sacred Ruins.
Awesome.
And which is a melodic death metal band. And then we're going to have Metal Invictus in there.
Oh, awesome.
Logos.
Awesome, yeah.
We also throw the band logos in there. We have Adrian in there from Metal Warzone. And Metal Invictus, they're going to have their heads cut off in a cemetery. It's super fun. And some of the members of Sacred Ruins. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Comic Book 6. Oh, my favorite bands, Highland, Arachnagod, and Madrost.
All awesome. These are all awesome, amazing bands, and people should check them out if they don't know them, because they're awesome. So, okay, Leah, and if anybody's interested to get this comic book, how they can contact you, how can they purchase this?
They can go on my website, which is leahscottprice.com, and they can, go on Amazon, they can type my name in, they can find the comic books. I'm always on Facebook promoting. So if you see my promotions, click on the link. There's a whole page that comes up. You can get them on Kindle. You can get them download. You can get them on Big Cartel signed copies.
Awesome.
And I can send them to you. And sometimes I show up at shows when I'm feeling better, because I have a medical condition, and I have comic books, and I can sign and
awesome. Awesome. But thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for the support of the underground metal scene, and awesome work, and everybody should check it out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.